Growing up was difficult. Under a widowed mom, and in my primary six, I was able to write the Gifted Children's Exam in Anambra State. And in the whole of the state, I came second. The scholarship was supposed to take me through secondary education, and I was denied because I came from a family without a surname. I got into the secondary school, and in JSS2, I wrote another scholarship exam in Ebonyi State. The scholarship was supposed to take us to America, where we study, for the rest of our secondary school days or something. So we were watching the network news at night. I actually came first in the whole world. And at night, I was watching the network news with my mom and my siblings, and we already found out that the state governor's wife is already in America with the chosen ones, people I never saw in the exam hall. It was crazy. That was the moment I turned to a street kid. JSS2 was the last time ever in my life I brought a school result back home, because it means nothing to me. I lost the whole interest, and I preferred life on the streets. School wasn't making sense to me, because why would I be denied first time, denied the second time? Then what am I doing here? Some days, I prepare for school at home, I pick up my PlayStation game, move straight to the cyber cafe, invite boys, we go to their home and play a game. That was what made sense to me. After that, I was able to get into school, wrote my WAEC, got admission. The trauma of what I faced as a kid still followed me to the university. And I dropped out. I left home. Went all the way to Port Harcourt and turned the real total street kid. I slept in an uncompleted building for months, slept in a tractor, and my defining moment finally happened when I went to Lagos, went to Abuja, finally came back to Enugu, at home. Having faced all these things, I met some kids around ShopRite. I saw them, I tried to start a conversation. I found out that these kids sleep outside the streets. Right at the place where I met them is actually where they sleep. So I said to myself, could these children be saying the truth? I went home. 4 a.m. the next day, 4 a.m. early in the morning, I came down to that very site where they told me they sleep. And I found these children laid up there, sleeping, exposed to the hazards of the night. I left. 7 a.m. in the morning, I came back. I called one of the kids, and I said to him, I want to go buy you food. And then he said, I cannot go without my brothers. That was the defining moment of whatever I've done with street children. Because this child showed me my philosophy. Like, he exhibited the Ubuntu, which I always preach. Ubuntu is a philosophy from South Africa which says, I am because we are. Now, this kid refused going to eat alone. Knowing quite well that he is truly hungry, a 7-year-old now told me that he can't eat alone unless he goes with his other siblings. And these other siblings he meant is not actually his blood brothers or sisters. They are the ones he met there in the street. I took all of them. We ate. And that was the moment I knew something needs to be done. today, the last time I was posted on Lindy KG blog and the Insta blog and co, they used a caption which is somehow crazy, and then it's been used in all my interviews. They said, 27-year-old school dropout who takes street children to school. Now, today, as I stand here, sometimes I ask myself, why do I do what I do? Just like they read my profile out here, being able to have taken 1,000 street children out of school, catered for widows, started businesses, and training for most street children I picked in the street, it's somehow unbelievable. But then when we talk about the street, the child, it boils down to family. And this is something I always want to point out. It hasn't been easy doing all these things, especially with these children, knowing quite well that family constitutes a lot to this problem. Now I have a story to share of a woman all the way from Ebonyi State, Mbo, who sent one of his sons to come to Enugu here and sell Jackie meat. He sends this boy down to Old Park to sell Jackie meat, and at the end of the day, there is no place to sleep. And he will take like 3 to 4 days before finishing the stock he came with. And then this boy gets in contact with the rest of the boys in the street, and there was no option for him than to join them. There is no way he can make all this money, take it back to his mom, when other boys are already in the street there, cleaning people's motor, they call it wiper, making some money, and then he makes his own money and take back to his parents. That was how the boy ended up in the street. And we got to him because he was knocked down by a man. And then he broke his leg. That was how they brought him to us, started taking care of him, getting to his family. His mom now narrated the story of how he gives him this stuff to come sell in Enugu. Another story. We have a woman, she lives in a brothel. She lives in a brothel downtown Gariki. What she does every morning is to send out her 4 kids, a girl and 3 other boys. She sends them down to ShopRite to beg for alms. Now they come back home. She pays 300 naira every day in the brothel. The children go, they come back and make the money she will use to pay for the brothel. And the funny story is, when we started interviewing her, she started crying. We found out that she also was a street girl. And the 4 kids she has came from different men. We wanted to start a business for her. We told her we're going to start a business for you. Take you away from the brothel, find you a home so you can take care of these children. We left that day. She told her children that whenever they see Agbalanze, they should run away. So whenever these kids see me in town, unlike the normal big girl that would rush me, all of them would run away. I went back to this woman. She wouldn't give me audience anymore. I threatened her with nap tip. She said she must finally, no matter where I take her to, that she must come out. One time the children were arrested and taken to nap tip. I don't know how she did it. She still came out. There's this other boy in the street which we picked up. We're going through his rehabilitation, trying to send him back to school. And then I was called one day from the rehabilitation center, MNA. I got down to the rehabilitation center, and it happened that this boy, he used syringe, mixed, I think it's lime and snuff. He mixed it together. It's crazy. He mixed everything together, and he had to use it on his body. And he's already mad at the rehabilitation center. A kid we're just trying to get back to school. So all I'm trying to say is this. The family is first. Some parents do punish their children in a way that is not supposed. These children love the street because they see the other boys in the streets living the life they've always wanted. A life of freedom, a life where nobody controls your action. That's how they see it. And they call it hustle. We have a lot of them right now in our care. Some from Nsoka. We notice that most of them actually come out from impoverished villages. Then down to Enugu here because they want to make it big. They want to struggle and hustle. That's how they put it. There was a day, around 2 years ago, I registered 4 boys in school. That school behind GTC, GSS. I registered 4 boys there. The next day, I asked them not to go to school. I just wanted to see what goes on in the school environment for these children. I wore their uniform. Then I had no bears. Like my bears wasn't like this then. So I shaved everything and looked like a street kid, a school kid. Then I wore their uniform and went to school. I sat in their classes. So during the recess period, I came out. I was acting naive and trying to be a nerd. Then these 2 boys walked up to me and was like, "Who goes you? Whither you?" So I was like, "Bros, nobody goes me." Oh. So they started saying a lot of things that if I get in the game, leave home, be a street kid, that this is going to happen, they're going to give me a good life, I should do this and do this, that will take me to a place. I said, okay. When are we going? They said, after class. I said, all right, I'll follow you. So after school, they took me somewhere around Tunnel. There's one small river around Tunnel. So while we were getting to the place, they already have their members, the real street boys, waiting already to initiate me into their cult. So while I was coming with them, the leader of the whole group that was waiting to initiate me saw me immediately with his whole gang. They all ran away. So the ones that brought me now looked at me and they tried to run away. I had to grab the 2 of them. I was like, we came for initiation. Why are you running away? So it happened that the ones that ran away were actually the ones I was planning to get into the adaptation process. They know me. They've seen me just twice because most times I get free with them. I follow them to go and swim. They don't even know my full profile. I follow them to swim. I follow them to where they do all that. So I can actually get into them and do my work. So when they saw me coming, that was the reason they ran away because they already know me. So the ones that came with me wanted to run, and I had to grab them, and we started talking. They started begging me. So I said, I took them back to their school. We met the guidance and counseling, and finally they actually graduated at the end of the day. I'm not saying no, you shouldn't give alms to the beggars, but these children, you see them everywhere. They are sound, healthy, and cool. It's either they run away from home out of stubbornness, or most of them are actually impoverished, like the orphans. They have a lot of orphans among them. But when you keep on giving money to these children, it keeps them in the streets. Even when they clean your windscreen and all that, please, we keep on begging society to stop giving them money. It encourages them to stay in the streets. I think the timing of this event is in no way enough for me to tell a lot of stories of what we've seen in the streets. Even as we sit here right here, parents and brothers and sisters, if I should review what we've seen in the streets so far, you will understand that your wards at home right now are planning to leave home. When I left home, I was not hungry. At least my mom could provide everything that we needed. But I needed that extra freedom. Everybody wanted me to do school. But the trauma of what I passed through as a kid haunted me till my university days. So I couldn't stay. I saw no sense there. So if I should expose more stories of what we've seen in the streets so far, you will understand that society has a lot of role to play in curbing this vice. So to round up my TED Talk today, I encourage everyone out here, when you meet these kids in the streets, there are relevant authorities to report them to. They themselves, when they get this impoverished, they know places to go and meet. Because most times they've been arrested by the Gender Affairs Ministry, and they have provisions for them, but they don't want to stay there. They don't want to stay there. What we do in the street is we take them home first. The ones we only put under our care are the ones that are truly impoverished. the ones that we found out that they have nothing to do than just to be in the street. There are two categories of people in the street. We have children on and children off the street. Your younger ones are home. They normally go to that old park to hawk. They get to the street. One day, in one way or the other, they get exposed to those kids off the street. The ones already living in the streets. Those ones that hawk, they have a place to go at night and sleep. They have homes. But then, with time, they are going to be corrupted by these ones already of the street. So at the end of the day, they also end up in the street themselves. There are just a lot of stories to tell when it comes to this. But what we've done so far, we've been able to reduce at least the number of street children in Enugu by 70% in the past 4 years. So, in my TED Talk today, I encourage society, please, report these children to relevant authorities that will take up their cases from there. Thank you.